you don't have a business plan that is the exercise so you can review and check out your own concepts and idea, that's going to be unfair for the people that is lending you money. Sometimes your mother or whatever, giving your savings, and you just have a concept, a dream, and that's very important. You look to be very professional in what you are doing, and that's very good piece of advice. Now, I have another question. Did you go, or you were looking for a mentor, or you just happened to meet that guy and then everything went by itself?
So, it totally happened by chance that I reconnected with him. Through a series of personal experiences at the end of last year, I found myself in the same place as he was. And I've known him my whole life, but never talked business with him. And he said, I've known you your whole life. I think you could be a CEO. So let's start having breakfast. And it really evolved from that. And again, if you asked me a year ago if I was going to be the CEO and if I was going to start Spiritú, this is not something that I had been thinking about and wishing for 20 years, 10 years, 5 years. This really is something that evolved very organically. So there was no equation.
I mean, that's very interesting because many people are looking for mentors. And I was reading the other day that most of the mentors tend to say no to a open request because they don't want to have the responsibility of saying, okay, I'm going to be your mentor and then I don't have time to help you, and then, or your business fails, then you're going to blame me, because your business failed. And now many people are very reluctant to become mentors. So to get a mentor like you did is actually almost a miracle. It's very difficult. Don't you think?
Yeah, but I believe really strongly that not only seeking out mentorship and seeking out support and also constructive feedback is really important for anyone who's going on this journey. I also think it's really important to be a mentor to people, even if it's small, even if it's taking one coffee meeting. I also believe really strongly in the power of connecting people. Whether or not you think you're going to get an immediate return, it always comes back around. People have done me favors and connected me without asking for anything, and I've done the same. And I think those two things together are really, really important.
Interesting. Now, going back to the business model, the acquisition and the retention. And there is another element that to me it makes me kind of nervous also when somebody tells me or is talking to me about e-commerce, the distribution, the shipping, the returns and all that. How does it work from your perspective?
Yeah, so I think we're doing things twofold. So we have an e-commerce shop where we're helping women build their brands. And then we have the subscription box that ships at the beginning of every season and then as we acquire new subscribers. So I think the trick for me, the secret sauce, is having a really good COO who understands fulfillment. And actually, a lot of that has involved mentorship too. So she went to business school and she knows a lot of people who have gotten into fulfillment. And we've talked to a lot of people. How do we make this work? How do we make this economical? How do we grow and scale our business? Who are the best partners to have? And I think learning and being open to learning and to hearing people's experiences, especially with fulfillment, is always really helpful.
I mean, I would say it's vital. I mean, if you don't know and you just jump in it, you're going to most probably fail because the cost of the fulfillment, including returns and the whole thing, the shipping and all that stuff, just the manpower to package and all that, that's adding up to the cost, the product cost. So if you say my product is going to cost $20, imagine how many thousands of people have to buy it in order to have the margin, considering 30% return, which I think is the average of returns in e-commerce today, something like that. So that's amazing. But there is something that I like from your business model also, the empowering of women, because you're going to showcase women entrepreneurs. So I think that every month you're going to have somebody's life or showcasing in your platform. Tell me more about it.
Sure. So I think really what's at the heart and soul of what we're doing is empowering a really awesome community of women. So, what we're doing through that is through e-commerce, we're going to actually feature brands and products. And then we're also next month announcing a really cool partnership where we're helping a bunch of women actually launch a product. So the barrier to entry for a new brand is low if you have access to capital and you have the right connections, but it's actually quite high if you don't have that. And that's a really important part and piece of what we're doing. And that's all about women supporting women. So hopefully more frequently than every month, we'll have a new set of products up in the shop, and then some really great content surrounding who those women are and what their story has been in their journey.
In your plan, because I know, you are a lawyer, you are a person of reality. You have dreams and passion, but I know that those dreams and passions are within a frame, which is reality. What's the goal, the timeline for you to break even? Let's say a year or two.
That's a really interesting question. With these models, like a subscription model, it's not just a straight direct to consumer. So I think if you look at the historical landscape of big subscription box companies, for example, they go at least a couple years before they're cash flow positive. Just because, as you were saying, the acquisition costs and how much it costs to put a box together, it's not just a straight, I'm making a lipstick and I'm selling a consumer a lipstick and I keep the margin because it's direct to consumer. But I think, what we're really setting our sights on right now is less about immediate capitalization and less about profit, and is more about how do we build this community? How do we build up this community? How do we stand behind our mission statement that's supporting entrepreneurs and creators? And I think, and I believe bullishly perhaps, that if we can continue to do that, then everything will kind of balance out in the next couple of years.
I think that's very smart, because if you are ideally driven about ideals, concepts, principles, I think that you're going to be able to share that spirit, with your target, your demographic. And that's something that is a quality differentiation factor into the whole concept. I love it, and I'm very interested in what you are saying. Something that I was thinking about asking you. You evidently you are very articulated. You are very well educated, and however, in this year or so that you are working in this project, tell me the most important lesson until this point that you have learned. Something that you said, this is something that really has an important lesson in my life.
So I think it's that failure is okay. So I know that seems trite perhaps, or obvious, or maybe a lot of entrepreneurs say that, but I consider myself a type A person. So failure is really scary. But I think even in the past year that we've launched this company, there are surprises and things don't always go the exact way that you planned. And I think being able to quickly take inventory of whatever didn't work and learn from it and grow and keep moving forward and staying positive and believing in what is ultimately your vision is something that I think will be the most important thing in moving forward and continuing to grow this business. And it's something that I personally work on every day.
So what would be your best advice for another women entrepreneurs?
So I think it goes back to something I said earlier, which is really, number one, find a mentor who believes in you. But more important than that, find somebody who believes in you and will give you the type of constructive feedback to make you better, and listen to them. I think it's always good to be humble and to take people's experiences and to learn how to weave them into your own. And I think the second piece is be a connector. Don't always just ask things of people, actually pay it forward and give that back and make connections and introduce people. I'm here because a good friend of mine who I met through Spiritú introduced me to you guys, and I've introduced her to people. And I think that's the way to have a really fulfilling personal and professional life. So I would say it's those two things.
Do you have a marketing guru in your group? Like, you have a marketing plan?
We have a marketing plan. We have marketing partners. So I think especially for a startup, it's really important to have external partners who similarly believe in your vision. and who can help you execute that. And then internally, we're working on growing our team. We're kind of at that place now where we want to actually grow our team from within as well.
So external partners, meaning you hire an agency or something like that?
Yeah, so creative and design agency, and then like a performance marketing agency to help with some of the paid marketing. But, our vision and our mission really comes from within, and it's our job to work with really incredible people on the inside as well who can help communicate that message to our outside partners.
So we've been interviewing many entrepreneurs here in Como Lo Hizo, and most of them, they really struggle to launch their business because they don't have access to capital. They don't have access to probably a qualified mentor. And so they have to, work during the day and try to put some time into their business at night. What I'm perceiving in this conversation with you is that you are different because you have a mentor, you have access to some capital, and so your background also helps you to go and structure your business. So this is a different stage for our audience that are looking, okay, I know some people that, as I told you, didn't have money, and now these people, yes, they have access to some, capital. And do you see the other people that I'm talking about it? Probably those are the women that you are trying to help, correct?
That's exactly right. I mean, that is exactly one of the gaps that we're trying to bridge. And really, we are a female-founded company, and that's a huge part of what we're doing, and a huge part of what drives us is making those connections and helping women and learning about their incredible stories and their diverse set of experiences and what makes them tick and what their dreams are, and just being a part of that. And so it's kind of this meta thing where I'm an entrepreneur and I'm launching a new company, but I'm also helping entrepreneurs and helping them launch their companies. And I also get to be creative and hopefully a change maker and be a part of that whole process.
That's awesome. Yesterday I was interviewed by a different podcast, and the host, which is of course very kind, and he has a large following, he told me that over 60% of the followers are women, female, and I was also reading the other day that 50% of Latino entrepreneurs are women, Latinas. And now I'm talking to you and you want to empower Latina entrepreneurs. And that's wonderful. And I have to say also that most of my interviewees are women, mujeres. So, and I can feel that women are coming to this entrepreneurship activity with, such a force and creativity. And that's beautiful because they are coming out of their homes, keeping, which is wonderful, taking care of the kids and family, which is beautiful and amazing. But now they are incorporating themselves, taking part of the actual active economical society, and that's beautiful. And when I see what you are doing, it's really, to me, inspiring, and I promise that I'm gonna support you as much as I can, and I wanna wish the best for you. And trust me, we can talk, and whenever you want, I'll be open for your project. I love it. Now,
thank you.
All that said, let's go a little bit more generic. Do you have someone in your life, could be alive or not alive anymore, besides your family, that you really admire?
Yeah, so it's difficult because it doesn't include family, and I so admire my family. But I had an experience when I was younger in college. One of my professors, who also became a close mentor of mine, said to me one day, just kind of in passing, I learn something new every day. And I think that has had an impact on my life and what I think about, and especially now, because it forces me to be humble and to realize that we should always be open to new experiences and new perspectives, and to try to learn something every day.
That's something else that I forgot to ask you, because you are always talking about reading and learning. So do you read a lot every day, or you put some time into learning and discovering new stuff every day?
My time is spent listening to podcasts when I'm driving in Los Angeles. So that's my way of learning about what's going on in the world and current events. And I find that I need to be better about reading books again, just because that's something to make time for. But when I'm in the car every day, I'm listening to podcasts.
So how important do you think it is for an entrepreneur to learn?